Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for clicking on this video. Today I will be reviewing Van Dieman's ink. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. I did look it up and that is what they said. So this ink is called Riverbank. It comes in this beautiful box. This is made in Tasmania. Here's the bottom. The box is black and then it's got this, and it's like a matte finish, and then it's got this beautiful foil. Looks like copper colored foil. And let me grab something to open this so I don't damage the box. Okay, so sometimes that works, yep. All right, so crisis averted. So this is how it looks here. And these bottles are really pretty. Very unusual shape. And it's got this lovely label and this like rose gold looking accents. All right. And this one I haven't even really tested for myself yet, so we'll be learning together. I have never tried their inks before. I saw them for sale somewhere and purchased them a while ago, so I've had this for a little while. So if you're new, what we do is we test these inks on different types of paper. I use regular old copy paper, HP 32 paper, which is another kind of more better copy paper, and Tomo River paper. And that is because you might not have fancy paper at home. Maybe all you have is copy paper, or maybe you have like a notebook or something, and you don't know how this ink is going to perform. You don't want to spend all the money on a bottle of ink and then hate how it looks on your paper. So this will tell you if this will work with the paper that you've got. Because some of the inks, they do require fancier papers, and others it doesn't matter. So it looks in the bottle, it looks kind of almost brown, but I don't think that's the actual color of this. We will find out. It says it's a dual tone ink, which I do not know what that means, so we will find out. So let's see, I'll set this here. All right, let's get some scribbles down. So this is the regular copy paper. Oops. Let's move that out of the way. I'll move this also. There we go. Put down some thicker blotches of ink. There we go. And of course, if there are some inks that you would like to see me review, any specific colors or brands or whatever, let me know, and if I have them, we will review them together. All right, this is Van Dieman Riverbank, and this is copy paper. And already this is doing something interesting. So it almost looks kind of pink or something, and then there's a little bit of like blue or green seeping out on the edges, which is really, really cool. So maybe that's what it means by a dual tone. I'm not sure. That's really neat. Hopefully the camera will pick all this up. Because what I see, and this is just plain copy paper, this isn't even anything fancy, and it's already doing something. So that's really good. Let me rinse this off real fast. And then I'll show you, hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so, do you see up here, those blotches around the edges? It's got like this weird green like sheen or something. Huh. Anyways, I think it's fascinating. We're going to go ahead and try it on the other papers while that dries and compare at the end and see if it does that with anything else. So this is the HP 32. This paper is also thicker than normal copy paper, so whenever I pull a sheet off, I think I'm pulling off 2 sheets, but I'm definitely not. All right, we'll try this. I don't think this one needs to be shaken up because I don't believe it has any shimmers, so I'll just go without shaking it. Yeah, so it definitely has like a weird kind of muddy color when it goes down, and then it changes, which is really fun. Definitely a fan of inks that do something, you know. I do like the plain, like, one color inks as well. They have their purpose for different things, but I like to see something shading or really anything. Otherwise, I feel like I can just use a ballpoint pen, and I don't really want to use a ballpoint pen. Riverbank. And this is HP 32. Alright, and we'll lay down some more ink. Yep, this is doing it too. So it's starting to turn from that weird muddy color into like this pink, kinda. And then it's got like this gray, or not gray, I'm sorry, like a green or a blue. I'm gonna go slow here. See if I can get it to do that, whatever that effect is. Oh, and I forgot to make that test, and you're probably yelling at the screen right now. So here is the test that we do. I used to do it at the end, which is why I'm forgetting, but because it takes so long to dry, I thought it would be better to do it at the beginning and let it dry so that at the end we could take a look at it. So let me just do that real quick. All right, yeah, look at that. See, it's like a weird muddy color, but it doesn't stay that way. You can see already the pink's coming through. This is a really neat ink, really fun. I think I got 3 of these from this company, so I'm gonna do a little bit out the side here, scribble out of the lines a little bit. Maybe put a little bit more so we have some pooling here down at the bottom. I don't know if that's going to do anything, we'll find out. Anyway, I think I bought 3 of these different colors, so maybe we can review the other ones later and kind of compare them side by side. Oh, we don't need to close that. Put this here. Okay, this is Riverbank. And it's called Dual Tone, so I might as well put that on here. Alright, so already the colors are separating, which is really fascinating. Let me show you here. Alright, I want this to stay level so it can dry, but this is how it looks so far. It's really cool. Anyways, I'm going to set that down. Alright, so here is the HP 32 paper. And again, like on these scribbles, it's really prominent. You can see in between the gaps where that pink is going to like a green color. Bizarre, like in a good way though. And this does not seem to have really much feathering at all compared to the copy paper. So we'll let that dry. And go to the Tomo River paper. And usually these inks will dry within a few seconds, but because I'm putting down such a heavy amount of ink, that's why it's taking longer than it would normally to dry. Okay, I definitely have 2 sheets here. Come on. The Tomo River paper is very, very thin. It almost feels too thin. So if the paper feels normal, I know I've got too much. All right, so let's try this again with this one. All right. This makes me really wonder what the other colors look like. Because this is not at all what I was expecting. In a good way, you know. Like this is definitely a good surprise and not a bad surprise. Alright, scribble on here. Riverbank. And this is Tomo River. I'll lay down a little more ink here. So this is starting to pool in the places, like the low parts of the paper, which is neat. The shading is a little more obvious in the writing on this one. Let me see if going slower makes any difference. I don't know. But anyway, this would still be a fun ink to use for normal writing. Whoops. Alright, I'm going to set this aside to dry for a minute. And actually, let me put the lid on this. Always worried that like dust particles will get in or something. Alright. And I'm going to put it back in the box as well. I'm going to give this a few more seconds to dry, but let's look at these. So here's the copy paper. Well, here's the copy paper. That looks really cool. You can definitely see the shading, I guess it's a sheen, the pink to green. It's not as obvious as it is on like the swatch or the tone order. So here is the HP 32 paper, and side by side, first of all, on the copy paper, the plain copy paper, there's a little bit more feathering, which I'm hoping the camera's picking that up. A little bit of feathering, and you can kind of see it down here. The edges of the ink are not as well defined. Here they're much more defined. There's shading and also that weird green sheen. That's really, really neat looking. So yeah, this is definitely like a pink and green, which is really cool. And then you've got the Tomoe River, and I think that's dry. Also, you can see even though this is thin, it's not bleeding through. So the effect on this is a lot more dramatic. I don't even think that this is fully dry yet. I think down here these might be. But you could definitely see the pink to green, and over here you can see that band of green kind of, and then the shading where this is like darker and then it's like lighter on this side. So the difference is pretty dramatic. I think the HP 32 paper would be totally fine for this. I think the effect is really nice, and you don't need to use expensive Tomoe River paper for this ink. But if you do use the Tomoe River paper, you'll get a different type of effect, like equal, different but equal. If that makes sense. Like I don't think either one is necessarily better. But I think the effect you get is a little bit different. So it just depends on which you prefer. And then here's that swatch that we made. It's almost dry. But you can see how cool that looks. It's like, reminds me of watermelon or something. And you can see on this, on the writing, how nice the shading came out in that. It looks really cool. So let's look at this under the light and see if it looks any better or different with the light on it. And I'm going to be hopefully soon here getting a different, hopefully better and different light setup. Yeah, so here's Tomoe River, HP 32 in the middle, and copy paper on the end here. That's a really beautiful ink. And I need to think of something, maybe a nice journal or something to use that in. Yeah, so those are those swatches, and I'm going to set these aside to hopefully finish drying. And then here is this under the light. So there's no shimmer. That shine at the bottom is the wet ink that still needs to dry. But it's got that lovely green to pink color change. Like, yeah, that's just really, really pretty. So that's a very fun and unexpected, you know, unexpected effect of the ink. And if you missed the last video, we did Mirror of Erised by Ferris Wheel Press. It was a Harry Potter ink that they came out with. Let me show those. You see that one had shimmer in it, so that was really cool. So yeah, all right, so thank you for clicking on this video and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see any reviews or anything specific, any colors that you'd like to see, let me know so I can make some things that you'd enjoy watching. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and have a great day.